Hi, friends. How are we doing?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, y'all.
I see Karen and Sandy.
Hello.
I see Jim. I'm assuming there's Emily around. I see Renee, Joey, Susan. I see the Steinbach family. Welcome to Shabbat. We're almost okay. Sandy, is that a Moscow Mule at this hour?
No, that's just vitamin water, but the thing keeps it colder than most glasses. So
There you go.
Sure. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Well, you guys are in beautiful Scottsdale. You should enjoy it, whether it's 2 o'clock or 5 o'clock. God bless you.
You got it. Are you the rabbi tonight?
4 o'clock.
Rabbi
5
Shauna,
o'clock.
1 o'clock, right? Rabbi Shauna will be leading the service tonight. Rabbi Van and I actually got back from our Florida snowbird visit
Oh, yeah.
about a couple hours ago. So so Rabbi Shauna, who's waving and on her way into the sanctuary, is going to lead tonight.
Sorry. Okay.
I
Did you have a
rushed
good
over
time?
to play tech guy. Oh, we all love it. You know, we weren't able to go, for the last year.
Right.
We actually shut down like 10 days after our 2020 visit. So last year we had celebrated 2 years ago, Diane Sholnick's birthday when we were there, and her birthday is today. And we were talking about it when we saw them. It was 2 years ago to the day. Somebody's that's Stan. That's
Sue Hoffman. That's Sue.
no, it's not.
That's Sue up there. That's Sue Hoffman. Sue Rubenstein?
No, it's
Whatever.
Sandy. It's Sandra. It's Sandra
Sandy.
Rubenstein
Sandy.
and Stan Grossman.
That's right. Forgot the name.
Sorry, I was having trouble pulling names now.
Me
Look, it's
too.
Sandy Lesher Waterhouse. It looks like she's in an office. Mute, my darling.
I'm in my office at home.
Got it. Okay. Susan Hirsch is prepping for Shabbat early.
Yeah, I haven't been in an office in a couple of years.
Been a while, right? I know.
Yeah.
I know. We are a couple minutes from starting service. It's good to see everybody. Happy to have you up. I could be wrong, but I think I'm being the board chair is coming up behind me.
Somebody's photo.
What
What is it?
Photo bombing you.
Photo bomb.
Lori's photo bombing.
Shalom, everyone.
Oh,
Hi, Laura.
Shabbat shalom.
hi, Lori.
It always makes me a little nervous. You see her running up behind you. It's like, oh, it's all good. All good in the hood. It's good to see everybody.
Anybody in the number?
I can't figure out.
Hi, Karen and Sandy.
Hi, Em. Hi. Good.
Heroes, are you still in Phoenix?
Hi, Deborah. Still in Scottsdale
That's
Okay.
till the end of April-ish.
till we get home.
We ended up there by accident for a couple days.
Shabbat shalom.
Accident?
This year?
We were going to Tucson and wanted
we're
to
not
get
actually
out of
going another
Cleveland
10 minutes,
before a
we're gonna
big
end that.
storm. So flew to Phoenix and then spent a couple days there.
Wow.
It was great.
Something's wrong.
Okay.
Beautiful. Yeah.
You have a condo there or a house?
Deborah,
I want everybody.
Yeah,
looking at
Carol.
everybody.
He was talking to me.
Okay.
who's that handsome fellow
Deborah.
next to you?
That we didn't have.
There he is. All right, good.
And Bruce?
Over there, Mr. Sherman, Dr. Sherman.
Welcome back.
All right, thank you. Thank you. It's great. We had a great time. And it was good. We had good meetings, good conversations.
Right now.
It was, 80 degrees, so I can't complain.
How many miles?
And
More than
Shabbat
so
shalom. Shabbat
we're
shalom,
starting the
everybody.
service. I'm
No?
saying goodbye to you
Not
guys.
yet. Well,
I'm-
Shabbat shalom to the people in here then. Yeah.
I'm muting you people.
Listening to
Hi.
that.
Mute your.
Everybody's.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom.
Welcome to, it is the last Shabbat in the book of Exodus. We are finishing a book of Torah this week, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. I welcome you all. It is good to see those of you who have been coming regularly, and those of you who, somebody said, I've reemerged. Those of you who are reemerging back into society. Whatever brought you here this Shabbat, whether it is because you are mourning a loss, whether it is because, you feel joy in your heart, something to celebrate, whether it is simply because it's Shabbat and this is where you'd like to be, whether you are here in our sanctuary or whether you are out, as I like to say, in Zoomlandia, whether you are watching us, I don't know, we're on lots of platforms, streaming, Facebook, I don't know actually where we are, wherever you are. However you are tuning in, I hope that our service gives you exactly what you need, not only to get you through Shabbat, but the coming week as well. And we will welcome Shabbat in a very traditional way, actually, with Shalom Aleichem. This is my favorite song about those Shabbat angels.
Yes, and we haven't done this one in a while.
Cool.
And I was just feeling my roots a little bit, and I thought we should sing with that. I don't remember what page it's on.
It's on page 24 for those who are in the room with us. And for those of you at home, you don't have to turn to any page because we're going to provide it right for you on the screen.
Yes. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
And I know it has become a minhag here, a custom that we start Shabbat services with a deep cleansing breath. So I'll invite you all to take in a deep breath, and as you exhale, let go of anything that might be stressing you out, making you anxious, making you sad. And as you breathe in again, breathe in the peace and the relaxation and rest of Shabbat. And I mentioned those Shabbat angels. And it's one of my favorite stories. It's that we all walk out of Shabbat services on Friday night with two angels, a good angel and a bad angel. And if you have prepared for Shabbat, if you have gotten ready, if you've gotten into the correct mindset when you walk home and your house is ready and everything is ready, the good angel says, may every Shabbat be like this. And the bad angel has no choice but to say, amen, may it be so. But if you are not ready and you walked in here all harried and whatever it is, and you're not in the correct mindset, the evil angel will say, may every Shabbat be just like this one. And the good angel has no choice but to say, may it be so. Ooh. So we hope that as we start to kindle the Shabbat lights, which we're going to do beginning on page 3, that we will get into the right frame of mind so that when we leave here, it will be the good angel that is guiding us through this Shabbat and every one to come.
I love that.
Right? Isn't that a fun story? I love that one. All right, so we are going to continue on page 3 as we say, and these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And we continue with Kiddush on page 4. The heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God stopped on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on that day God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. It's a very good year. We continue with our opening reading, which can be found on page 8. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. And now we rise as able for Baruch Hu on page 28.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach. Baruch Adonai hamavorach leolam vaed.
And we offer our prayer thanking God for the world God created on page 31. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated as we continue with V'ahavta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
I've always connected to Mi Chamocha, and I think one of the reasons is I have been a lifelong movie lover, and the crossing of the Red Sea just seems like, I mean, it was an iconic movie moment, but it just seems like it was made for the movies, the drama of the sea parting. Will they or won't they cross through to safety? What's going to happen with the people chasing them? And then they get through and they are safe, and they sing with such joy and relief and awe. And it is that combination of joy and relief and awe that we bring to this prayer every week. And no matter what tune we choose, no matter how we sing it, our hearts are filled with that joy and that relief and that awe as we relive that journey from slavery to freedom every week. And as we think about what it is that enslaves us all week long, and Shabbat is that taste of freedom every week. So with all of that in our hearts, let us sing. No pressure at all, by the way.
Okay. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef eleh, Nora tehilot osef eleh, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Malchutecha ra'u v'necha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai, Yai lai 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 lai, Yai lai 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 lai, Yai lai 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 lai.
And we bring the peace of mind and the calm of safety with us as we continue with Hashkivenu, the Hebrew of which can be found on page 42 in your prayer books.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
We continue on page 44 with our prayer for the Sabbath, Vishamru.
Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, asa Adonai, et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, Shavat vayinafash. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam.
There's an old joke about a little girl who goes and asks her mother if God answers prayers. And the mother says, sure, God answers your prayers. So that night she goes to bed and she says, please, God, I want a bicycle. And she wakes up the next morning, no bicycle. She says, but Mom, I thought you said God answered prayers. And she says, God does answer prayers. So the next night, please, God, I want a bicycle. Next morning, no bicycle. And it happens another night, 3 nights in a row. And she goes and she says to her mother on the 4th morning, Mom, you said God answers prayers for 3 nights in a row. I've prayed for a bicycle and I've woken up and there's no bicycle. And her mother looks at her and said, maybe the answer was no. I think since prayer was created, we have always asked the question, does God hear and answer our prayers? And one of my favorite quotes about this is that our prayers are answered not when we are given what we ask, but when we are challenged to be what we can be. So I invite you to ponder that as we rise for the tefillah, in body or in spirit, on page 46.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah, Rav lehoshia. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofech cholim. Umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech memit, umechaye, umatmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukedoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
So we're taught that Shabbat is the time. Oh, you may be seated. Sorry. Have a seat. Take a load off your feet. Shabbat is the time when, rather than asking for things, we offer words of gratitude for all that we have, because God deserves a day off too. So we stop asking and we offer gratitude. So we are going to take a moment. If you are in the sanctuary, find a friend next to you. Tell them something you're grateful for this Shabbat. And for those of you who are watching on Zoom, you may say in the chat things you are grateful for. We'll do that for just a moment, and then we will offer our prayer for peace, because we are allowed to pray for peace, because peace is inside of us.
I love that. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom, ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
As somebody who's lived with a chronic illness for a long time, I learned a long time ago the difference between healing and cure. Cure is in the hands of the doctors, and sometimes we are cured and sometimes we are not. But healing is in the hands of ourselves and in the hands of others. That is about our emotional and spiritual needs, and that is what the Misha Berach is about. It may not physically change anything about our situation, but it does provide spiritual and emotional support for those who are going through illness, whether it is acute or whether it is chronic. And so that's why when we gather together for a service, when we gather together as a prayer community, we offer this Misha Berach prayer. Because even if people have no idea it is happening, somehow they feel that they are supported by this prayer. So I will give the opportunity now for those of you who are in the sanctuary, as my hand passes over, to offer a name. For those of you who are watching on Zoom, you are certainly welcome to put that in the chat. And we will offer the names, of course, with permission for those who could use a prayer of healing this Shabbat. Jane, Michael, and Rick. So for all those names we said aloud, for all those we hold in our hearts, and for all those everywhere who are in need of healing, we offer Misha Berach together. We take a moment for personal silent prayer. The Baal Shem Tov, sometimes known as the Besht, was a pretty well-known rabbi in his day. One would argue today as well. And towards the end of his career, one of the things he did was travel from city to city, and he would go visit different congregations. He would offer teaching, sometimes he would lead services. And it was quite the honor to have him come to your synagogue. And people would prepare for days. They would clean their synagogues, they would polish them, make sure everything was in order. And much like we do sometimes when we have company, we may hide things, in different rooms. Just make sure that the rooms that are going to be used are sparkling and, God forbid somebody goes into one of our guest rooms. But people would get their synagogues ready for a visit from the Baal Shem Tov. And one day the Baal Shem Tov came to one of these little cities that has no name in Eastern Europe that's part of every story we tell. And right? And he came to one of these cities to go visit the synagogue. And the town elders were so excited, and they were going to give him, a tour of all the cleaned rooms, and they were going to bring him in, and he was going to do a teaching, and he was going to help lead services. And they got him as far as the door, and the Baal Shem Tov said, "I can't come in. There's no room for me." And they said, "What do you mean? There's not even any people here. It's just us. You haven't even walked in yet. How do you know?" He said, "I know. There is no room for me in this building." He said, "I'll come back when there's room." And the town elders looked at each other confused, like, what could he be talking about? And so they went in and they said, well, maybe he knows about all of the rooms we hid things in. So they went in and they did another cleaning, and they went through things, got rid of things, they Marie Kondoed it. They got rid of everything, before there was Marie Kondo. They made sure that everything was neat, even the rooms that he wasn't going to enter. And they went back and they got the Baal Shem Tov and said, "It's ready for you now. Every place in the temple is sparkling. It's not cluttered anywhere." And he walked to the front door and he said, "There's no room for me." And now they were thoroughly confused. He said, "There's nobody in there. There's not clutter. We got rid of everything we don't need." He said, "There's no room for me. I'll come back when there's room for me." And the Baal Shem Tov left, and they walked in and they started to look around, and they said, well, maybe it's the chairs. Maybe he doesn't need the chairs in the sanctuary. So they stacked up all the chairs. They put them in the basement. So maybe he wants standing room only. He thinks he's going to draw a crowd. So they got rid of the chairs. They went back. They got the Baal Shem Tov. Same response. "I can't enter. There's no room for me." And they're looking at this empty sanctuary with only an ark and an eternal light. And they've gotten rid of everything. And they said, "There's nothing in here anymore except the essentials. There are no people. There's no clutter anymore. What are you talking about?" And the Baal Shem Tov said, "This synagogue is filled with prayers and teachings because they haven't been able to leave, because they were not said with any intent, with any kavanah. They were said because Jewish law said you should say them. They were said by rote, but there was no feeling behind them, so they haven't been set free. This entire synagogue, wall to wall, floor to ceiling, is filled with prayers, and there is no room for me." And the elders looked at each other, and they looked at the Baal Shem Tov, and they knew what they had to do. This Shabbat, we read Parshat Pikudei, and in it we read of the finishing of the Mishkan, of the tabernacle, the original sanctuary, if you will. And it was made from the finest materials. People brought gifts of their heart, they donated money, and they built the finest dwelling place for God. But that only matters if what happens inside comes from the heart. If we have the right intentions, And if we take what we learn and we use it to help make the world a better, more just, more fair place. Whenever we finish a book of Torah, we say, Chazak, Chazak, Benit Chazak. Be strong, and let us strengthen one another. May we have the strength to offer our prayers with the right intention, with kavanah. May we have enough strength to take the teachings we learn and use them to help repair the world. And may each one of us strengthen one another so that as a community, we can indeed make a difference. Shabbat Shalom.
This is the sound of something quiet. This is the sound of one small seed. This is the sound that breaks the silence. Come make a holy sound with me. Come make a holy sound with me. There is a harmony inside us. There is a harmony of peace. There is a harmony that binds us. Come make a holy harmony. Come make a holy harmony. This is the song of hearts wide open. This is the song of unity. This is the song that can't be broken. Come sing this holy song with me. Come sing this holy song with me. This is the sound of something quiet. This is the sound of one small seed. This is the sound that breaks the silence. This is the sound, the song, the harmony we need. Come make a holy sound with me. Come make a holy sound. Come make a holy sound. Come make a holy sound with me. With me. With me. With me. With me. With me.
I love that. And it reminds us that we can bring kavanah to so much and pray in so many ways. And we continue with Aleinu as we rise in body or spirit on page 283. Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spreads out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else.
ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Page 290. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and oh to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your love has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing to love what death has touched. This Shabbat, we remember in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning, Anita Nelson, and we commemorate the Yortzeit, the yearly anniversary of death, of Babette C. Anthony, Charlotte P. Beecher, Martin J. Cohn, Sidney I. Davis, Milton F. Fisher, Bernard Gilbert, Evan Goldblatt, Samuel Goldhammer, Jeanette B. Good, Bernard Gottesman, Norton Greenfield, Lucille Dobby Grease, Jean Heyman, Gerald L. Hartstein, Helen Heller, Ray Grossman Hibschman, Selma Stern Koplik, Martin Cox, Eunice Leisman, Edith Lewendorf, Francis F. Lowenstern, Stanton Luntz, Annette G. Lusher, Robert J. Lusher, Lena Metzger, Sophie Olks, Richard Phillips, Harriet I. Perosky, Matthew Perosky, Sylvia B. Rose, Ronald Rubenstein, Albert Savrin, Hildegard Darmstadter Stashower, Lester G. Steppacker, and Sidney H. Stern. We say of them all, Zichronam Livracha, may each of their memories be a blessing as we take into our hearts and prayers all those you have loved and lost as well, as we recite the Kaddish on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, Bialma divrach irute v'yamlich malchute, B'chayechon u'vyomechon u'vchaye dechol beit Yisrael, Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasa. V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort all who are bereaved, as we say, Amen. You may all be seated unless your name is Lori Rosenberg, because then you should come up here and offer announcements to the congregation. I know, right?
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
And it is great to be here, and it's great to see some new faces here in the sanctuary. And so we do welcome you all to come on back into the sanctuary. It is it's a great place to be on a Friday evening. And I'd like to thank Rabbi Shauna and bringing your grace to leading our services, and Deb for the music, and Jacob Rogers back there behind the screen for keeping us all connected, both here and at your homes, or as Rabbi Shauna said, anywhere you happen to be. As long as you have technology, you can be with us. And then all of the leadership staff and all the people we don't see all the time who help make this service and the other things that we do in the temple going. So I'm gonna put my glasses on, and there are several announcements. The first one, it is Purim time, so that means there's going to be a Purim carnival, and if there's going to be a Purim carnival, it needs to be set up. So we are looking for people to help set up the Purim carnival on March 12th between 9 and 1, and Rabbi Shauna is leading the charge on the carnival. But let Rabbi Shauna know then if you're interested in that. And then the carnival is on the 13th. Registration for, again, Rabbi Shauna, our annual retreat. We are back and having the retreat on April 23rd and 24th. So you could go ahead and register right now. And we've got people registered, and it is going to be a good time. And Rabbi Shauna again. We're going 3 for 3 here. Next week is our Come Grow With Me Shabbat, the Shabbat for our little people and our little members. And so that's going on. If you have anybody that would enjoy that service, please let us know. And as some of you may be familiar with the gatherings program that we have here, and we are starting a new gatherings program on March 7th, which will be Rethinking Holidays. This will be on Zoom, and we're going to discuss, I think, the different approaches or different traditions that people have in celebrating the holidays. We could learn so much from one another.
And that's this Monday, right?
March 7th, yes, at 8 o'clock. So
register.
Yes, please reach out to the temple. And then we're going to go Purim, but this is not you, this Purim. This is Rabbi Van. We have the Pine Sun Purim. And we would like to know that you're calling Call Charlotte. It's March 16th at Mulligan's, which is not where it's been in the past. So don't go to Winking Lizard thinking you're going to go there, and we'll be there because we won't. And the hors d'oeuvres and the adult beverage will be at Mulligan's. And then the last thing is we still are in the middle of our annual campaign. So we're doing great. And when you're walking into the building, you'll see the thermometers of where we are in terms of membership giving and then in terms of the dollars. And so we are still looking for everybody to contribute the best that you can and help our temple stay strong spiritually and financially. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Oh, and they can, if they send their form in today, can they still order Hamantashen?
They can.
Today is the day though, right?
Yeah, and chocolate is winning this year. So if you want chocolate, get it in because, we're going to run out. I know, Brett, there's plenty of apricot for you. Sorry. Brett believes there is one flavor and one flavor only of Hamantashen, and that is apricot.
He's just a specialist.
I know, whatever. We are going to close this evening with Adon Olam, which for those following in prayer books is on page 321.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'et Nasa B'chepto Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא אחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא הוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא אחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא הוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה הוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה.
Please rise as able for the benediction.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך.
May God bless you and keep you.
יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך.
May God's face always shine in your face, guiding and sustaining you.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום וישם לך שלום.
And may God always be with you and bless you with peace. Peace in your hearts, peace in your home, and peace in our world. Shabbat shalom and amen.
Amen. Before we go, let's say a motzi. So that way we can share. We have challah out over by the door over there for everybody here. And so if you're at home, enjoy. Hopefully you have your challah too. Here we go. Oh, survey, that's right. So Jacob was kind enough to remind us, for those of you who are on Zoom, if you could please click that link to the survey and help us to understand what you thought of the Zoom experience. This is an experiment, so we need your feedback. And also Brett, I believe, is going to stay on for a few minutes afterwards if anybody would like to give your feedback to him verbally as well. But please do that survey for us. We appreciate it. How about a motzi? Let's do that. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'te'avon and Shabbat Shalom.
I saw some nice challah there on the screen. Very nice. Those of you who have challah, very pretty. I'm going to step out in a few minutes after I chat with you guys. So anybody who wants to, oh, my volume's way down. Hang on. There we go. Anybody who wants to provide a little feedback, was the experience tonight, was Zoom good, bad? Was the visual good? Were you happy? Anything that's a challenge? As Deb said, we're 3 weeks into a 4-week, experiment with Zoom to see if it's stable again. I know, we've gotten some feedback, so I'll shut up. You can either verbally, or you can.
I was going to raise my hand.
But
Wants you to rate it.
Oh, write it. Okay. Write it.
here comes Lori. She wants to hear your. Anybody feedback?
I think it's great.
I think it's great, I heard. Okay.
You too. We love it.
Good.
What's that, Flossie?
I said, it's great and we love it this way. And the sound is much better.
Okay, sound and video has been good for everybody?
Yeah.
Yes, very good.
It's very
We-
good.
We did petition Zoom for an upgrade in our video quality. To help.
The visual is a little funky.
Sandy?
Yes, I'd like to know, I mean, it's great. We love it. We can see everybody. But why is this called an experiment when we first started? You were doing Zoom like this?
Well, because we stepped away from Zoom because we were having both the video quality was not very good. And more troubling was we constantly were dropping out audio. And this
Make a comment.
it's a known issue. It's a known issue with Zoom.
I don't have to, you did.
And frankly,
I-
as we were preparing for,
Where do I go?
we were really worried about that. We wanted the high holiday experience to be fabulous. And so we went to a much more stable product, Ecamm, which production-wise is better, frankly.
Right.
We do lose the community piece. And so we got feedback over the last number of months from a handful of congregants who said they really missed the little squares and seeing one another. So we as a staff and together with Lori and the executive committee decided that we would, before we're calling it an experiment. I didn't want to call it a return to Zoom because we don't know if we wanted to see what would happen. So far, so good. I will tell you that the 18th, we will return to Ecamm because we're going to aggregate all of the feedback and then we will make a decision about moving forward.
Please
But-
keep this, Brett, because this is wonderful. The sound is good, the pictures are good, and seeing everybody who is there, it really makes a connection with everyone, and it makes me feel more a part of Temple. I've been missing that with the pandemic, and I'm glad to see everyone who's on Zoom, and please continue.
I agree.
Jan, we'd love to see your face too.
Yeah, Jan. Rini?
On the streaming was okay, but I felt like I was a viewer, not a participant.
I agree.
You're right.
Okay.
Brett, the Rabbi and Deb were a little out of focus tonight. Did you notice that when you watched on your screen?
I kept my screen. I kept my screen in gallery view, so they were really small on my screen, so I did not notice.
The participants were much more clear than the Rabbi and Deb were.
Okay, we'll go back. That's a possibility that our cameras were slightly out of focus. I apologize. I will make an ask of you. If you see something like that, production-wise, early in the service, please either text my cell phone or put a note to me privately in the chat that says, "Hey guys, can you check?" If we can do it without messing with the service, we will. Sometimes it's something that might put production at risk and we won't touch it just because I don't want to drop a camera out altogether.
Right.
Other feedback?
How was Florida?
How was Florida? Florida was great. And I had we saw 5 of our friends and family down there. Actually, that's not true. We saw 6. I just disparaged Sid Bergman, Rabbi's dad, who is a member of Temple. He does. So that was shame of me. Oh, 7. Ellen Ross actually ran into us at the airport. So we actually saw 7. We were literally getting on the plane and Ellen Ross was getting off of the plane coming from Cleveland.
That's funny.
I know you guys. It was great. We hadn't been down to do snowbird visits in 2 years. I'll tell you guys, it is, it's an opportunity to have conversations we simply have trouble having around Temple. It's a great thing for us to be able to go and do. So, and it doesn't hurt that it's a little warmer than Cleveland.
Yeah.
So, all right, my friends, all the best.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom, and we'll see
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brett.
Everybody.
Our pleasure, guys.
Hasta
Take
la
care.
vista.
Thank you.
Good week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.